So I've been using the Bank of America Business Customized Cash Rewards Card as my primary business card for this YouTube channel for the past 6 months. And in this video, I'm going to give you my honest review of this card. Now for this YouTube channel, I use 2 business credit cards, the Amazon Business Prime Card and the Bank of America Business Customized Cash Rewards Card. My first business card for the channel was the Amazon Business Prime Card, and that was a great starting card as when I first started this YouTube channel, most if not all of my initial purchases was for equipment. This included items like a new camera and camera accessories, microphone, tripods, and lighting, to name a few. And all of these purchases came from Amazon, so with this card, I was able to get 5% cash back, which is pretty good. But after purchasing all this equipment, I noticed that my spending turned to online and business services. So I wanted to get a new credit card that could cover these categories as well. And it turns out the Business Customized Cash Rewards Card was a great fit for this new spending. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty details of this particular card and how I've used it, I want to address the elephant in the room concerning Bank of America credit cards. On the surface, Bank of America credit cards generally aren't considered to be that competitive because their multipliers aren't really that great. The exceptions, of course, being the personal and business versions of the customized cash rewards card, since they're both no annual fee cards with 3% choice categories that can be helpful in cashback only setups. But the unique value that comes from these credit cards is when you use them with the Bank of America Preferred Rewards system. In this system, there are 5 tiers: Gold, Platinum, Platinum Honors, Diamond, and Diamond Honors. And qualifying for each of these tiers will depend on your 3-month combined average daily balance of assets with Bank of America and/or Merrill Lynch investment accounts. For the purposes of credit card rewards, the highest relevant tier is Platinum Honors, where you can get a 75% boost on your credit card multipliers, elevating those 3% categories to 5.25%. Now, to qualify for Platinum Honors tier, you must have at least $100,000 in assets with Bank of America and/or Merrill Lynch, but putting that kind of money in a checking or savings account is not really the best way to go about doing this. Instead, it's much better to have a self-directed brokerage account, IRA, or if this applies to you, a company 401k with Merrill Lynch, since all of these accounts can help you reach this asset level with investments you hopefully are already doing. And this is a great strategy to qualify for Platinum Honors. And in fact, this is actually what I do to qualify for the Platinum Honors tier as well. But what about the business side? I mean, it'd be super nice if your personal preferred reward status transferred to your business, but unfortunately, that's not the case. If you want to go for Platinum Honors for business, you're going to have to climb the asset ladder again, starting with Gold, Platinum, and finally Platinum Honors. Just like the personal side, the preferred rewards for business looks at your 3-month combined average daily balance on your business accounts. So assets in your checkings and savings accounts will count towards this total. But what about business investment accounts? Specifically, what are accounts that are available that we can use to raise our tier within preferred rewards for business? Well, if we look at the available business investment accounts, you can still open a self-directed account or BIA, but there wasn't much information about this account online. So you may have to go through a Merrill Financial Solutions advisor at your local branch. You also have the ability to use business retirement accounts, and for you solopreneurs out there, retirement plans such as the Solo 401k and SEP IRA also count towards the asset totals for preferred rewards. Of course, I'd check with your financial or tax professional before starting one of these accounts just to make sure it fits your individual situation, but it's nice to see that there's a lot of investment options to help you tier up on the business side. Another option to consider would be CDs or certificate of deposits. And at the time of the recording of this video, Bank of America is offering 3.6% APY on their 3-month business CDs, which is not the highest I've seen, but still a very competitive rate. Now, I say all of this because I really like how Bank of America credit cards can grow with your business, and that 3% choice category can get as high as 5.25% on some pretty useful business categories. So now that we know all about the cashback potential this card has and how we can get there, let's get into the card itself. The Business Customized Cash Rewards Card comes with a sign-up bonus of $300 after spending $3,000 in purchases in the first 90 days of account opening, which is about a 10% return on spend. It also comes with a 0% introductory APR for the first 9 billing cycles, which could be helpful if you have a larger purchase coming up. This card has no annual fee, but unfortunately it does have a foreign transaction fee, so it's a card you'll definitely want to keep for purchases within the United States. Getting into the multiplier structure, you can get 3% cash back on the category of your choice, 2% cash back on dining, and 1% cash back on everything else. Note that there's a $50,000 cap on combined purchases in the 3% and 2% categories each calendar year, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this is pretty generous and probably won't be an issue for most people. The 6 3% categories that you can choose from are gas stations, office supply stores, travel, TV, telecom and wireless, computer services, and business consulting services. One question you may have is how are purchases categorized, and Bank of America makes this pretty clear and states that merchants are assigned a merchant category code, or MCC, based on the kinds of products and services they sell. They do not determine which MCC a merchant chooses to classify itself, and therefore some purchases may not fall into the category where you might expect them to appear. They do group similar MCCs into dining and choice categories to help you earn cash back on purchases made at specific merchants. And in my experience, Bank of America really does a great job with their categories since they're pretty broad compared to other issuers. For example, their travel category includes transit such as parking and tolls, and the dining category includes places such as bars and nightclubs. So let's cover each one of these 3% categories in detail. The gas station category is the default option when you first open the Your Business Customized Cash Rewards card and covers any place whose primary line of business is the sale of automotive gasoline. The next category is the travel category, and this category covers the typical purchases in airfare and hotel, but as I mentioned before, it also covers the transit category for purchases in parking, public transit, car rentals, and taxis. This category also covers Airbnb purchases, so if you like staying at Airbnbs instead of traditional lodging, this 3% category would be great for you. I wanted to mention these two categories first because they overlap with the categories on the personal version of the Customized Cash Rewards card. This is good to know because if gas or travel is one of your higher spend categories, this card could be used for those purchases and could free up a category slot on the personal Customized Cash Rewards card if you have that card already. And if you do have this card already, you could then set your 3% category to another option, for example, online shopping, which is probably one of the more popular categories on this card. The next category is office supply stores. So stores like Office Max, Office Depot, and Staples all fall under this category. So with this category, my first thought is how it compares to the Chasing Cash card. So let's take a closer look at this comparison. The Ink card gets you 5% cash back on the first $25,000 spent in combined purchases at office supply stores and on internet, cable, and phone services, each account anniversary year, whereas the Business Customized Cash Rewards card gets you 3% back on up to $50,000 in combined purchases between this category and the 2% dining category each calendar year. The Chasing Cash card is definitely the better card because its base multipliers are so much better. But with Platinum Honors, the BofA Business CCR card would be a better value than the CIC since this would make the office supply multiplier 5.25% with a potentially higher cap. Next up, we have the TV, telecom, and wireless categories, and this includes cable services, mobile phone services, as well as online music services. Although you get a great cashback multiplier for mobile phones, this card does not come with any cell phone protection, so it's probably better to put that charge on a different card. I also found it really interesting that online music services were in this category as well, and Netflix and SiriusXM are actually quoted on their website as part of this category. So this is a great example of Bank of America having broader categories than usual. And so the last two 3% choice categories are the ones that I find the most interesting and the ones that I've used the most so far. The computer services category is defined as any computer-related expenses, and let's be clear, almost everything these days is run on a computer, including this YouTube channel, so this is a great category to use for this particular business type. For me, I've definitely had a few expenses on website-related services, so for example, things like my domain name and web hosting. Also, shameless plug, definitely check out my website, thecreditfrog.com, if you want to connect with me or support my channel through my credit card referral links. Another cool feature about this category is that my Adobe Creative Cloud subscription also falls under the computer services category as well, so I'm able to earn 3% cash back on that purchase. And finally, we get to the business consulting services category that includes consulting, legal, accounting, and tax preparation. As my YouTube channel business is part of an LLC, there are services and fees that I have to pay to keep this entity going every year, and all of these expenses fall under this business consulting services category. So, for example, sites that offer LLC formation and LLC services, such as LegalZoom, Northwestern Registered Agent, InkFile, and Zen Business, would all fall under this category. I've also found that some freelance services also qualify, and although I'm not entirely sure about this, I think that the MCC codes for business services not elsewhere classified, which is 7399, and professional services, which is 8999, are probably the codes that make this happen. Another interesting merchant example is the UPS store, which is also good to know since UPS could also be considered shipping. So although it's not directly advertised, shipping falls under the business consulting services category and can be a great opportunity for those businesses that have a lot of shipping expenses. So those are the 6 3% categories that you can choose from on this card. For me, I typically leave this on business consulting services since that's the most common category that I've been using, but I've also switched it to computer services when needed. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my decision to get this card, especially because of those 2 unique 3% multipliers and because this card will become more valuable as my business grows. And if you want to know more about my initial thoughts about this card and why I decided to get it instead of other popular business cards, check out this video next.